I'm Ann Karrick, and right now we are talking to Danny LeGare. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Producer, director, writer, Bird Media. We got a lot of things to talk about. So let's start with your omnibus film and production company, Bird Media, as you talk about that on your website.
Yeah.
For somebody who doesn't know who you are you? What do you guys do?
So I've been in the film industry for probably 20, 25 years now. I started out as a clown in the circus, moved to New York to be an actor. When I was there, I started writing and producing. Then I moved out to LA where I started to produce and write and direct. And then I moved back to Connecticut when I adopted my niece when she was 2 years old, became a single dad, and I still loved making film and still enjoyed the industry. So I found a way to produce and direct here. And I built out my own company, Bird Media, about 7 years ago. I found a hole in the market where we felt that small businesses needed content for social media and they needed a lot of it. So we filled a void that was there.
Yeah.
And Bird,
Wait, I assume is growing.
yeah,
I mean, people need it even more now.
people need it even more now. But Bird Media, the name came from we lift the burden of creating content.
Okay.
Because content is a pain in the ass and nobody wants to do it. So we do it.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, I've done enough work in PR and marketing, and I know that I tell people they have to be on social media, and it is a burden. They look at it like, oh, yeah, they agree, but they don't want to do it. So that's where you step in.
That's where we step it.
Okay. And I know on your website, I love the comment. It says, work with us and you'll never have to sell your services and products again.
Yep.
So
if you tell your story in a way that works and is authentic and real and truthful, quality people provide a quality service and product. Show people that you're quality, the services and products will sell themselves. So that's what we focus on.
it's sort of like the new word of mouth.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? With social media.
Yeah.
You get the news out there and people, they know who you are.
The trick is you want to be in front of people before they need you.
Yeah.
So by creating video content, you can be out there before they need you. So they're already thinking of you when that thing comes up, right? You want to be the plumber that they're already thinking about, not the plumber they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. You talked about it a little bit. You got started down this path. You sound like you've done several different things. Do you miss any of the ones you've sort of left behind, or are you still involved in all of them a little?
I don't actually leave anything behind. I just keep adding to it. So like last year we decided
Increasing your own burden, in other words.
it's not a burden to me. I love it might be a burden to my team, but yeah, I have a lot of ADHD tendencies. So
Putting them to good use.
I put them to good use.
Too. So let's talk a little bit especially for people who are new, trying to get into any one of the many industries you're now working in, challenges, lessons learned, advice for newbies, because it can be very overwhelming. I mean, you've already talked about how you sort of changed directions several times, which you said from a clown, that's like to writing, all these different things. So somebody who's trying to figure out like which one is the right one for me, or they feel like they're hitting roadblocks, what can you share with them based on your own experience?
I would say keep trying things in life until you find the thing that you're passionate about, whether it be film or cooking or whatever it is. The best advice I ever got is if you want to be an actor or you want to be in film, but there's something else that you love doing just as much, do that instead. Because this is a really hard industry and it takes a lot of grit and it takes a lot of hearing the word no. I used to joke that I fail more in a day than most people fail in their entire lives, right? Like, so I'll go out into the world and I hear no constantly. I reach out and say, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, can we do this? Or hey, do you want to try this? And I hear no all the time. And when I was first starting out, I knew nothing. I didn't go to school for this. I went to the school of hard knocks, which I don't regret it, but I do wish that I was a better student so I could have gone to school for it, because I work with people. One of the guys that works with me now, Tyler, he's incredibly intelligent, incredibly skilled, knows way more than I'll ever know about film. And he's 20 years younger than me because he went to school and he's passionate about it and he studies it. And he's been doing it since he was 12 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm always envious of the people that understand it better than I do, but my brain just doesn't work that way. So I do the things that I do well and he does the things that he does well. And the other people that work with me, they do the things that they do well. And that's what makes us such a good team. So film is a sport. It's not an individual sport. It's a team sport. So you have to have a crew and a team of people that you love being around and that you want to be around, because you're going to be around them a lot.
Yeah.
And you have to be there for each other. And I'm going to fall short. They're going to fall short. And we're going to argue and we're going to fight and we're going to debate over things that may be silly to other people, but you have to learn to work together as a team.
Yeah. Well, and as you've already mentioned too, in your own life, you don't know what's going to happen. So you have to be able to go with the flow and adjust and make changes kind of on the spur of the moment, which I would imagine is also part of the industry.
Yep.
And that's what I said. You mentioned you had to move back to Connecticut for family reasons. I'm sure that wasn't part of your plan at the time.
No.
No.
I mean, I've made feature films where on the last day of shooting, I have had to rewrite the end of the movie because of problems that were happening on set. Whether it be an actor didn't show up or an actor had
Right.
a physical ailment or something happened or we just ran out of time. Like, don't get married to your idea. Get married to the project. Make sure the project gets done. It may not get done the way that you thought it was going to be, but you have to be malleable to fix and change what's happening as it's happening. Don't get stuck. Don't get in your own way. I hear so many stories of filmmakers working on a film for 3, 4, 5, 8 years. I'm like, what are you doing? You have to be done.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, you just have to be done. And it's okay to fail. It's okay to be like,
And actually, you're working on the film level.
yeah,
Not trying to
no,
pitch it to somebody.
no, they're
but to actually
tweaking
work
with
it on.
editing or shooting something, or
Goodness.
adding something, or just be done. And it's okay to have failed and be like, hey, I lost. I'm going to start over and do it again. Again, it's a team sport. And if you look at it as a team sport, that means every film or every project is a game. If you're 27-0, you don't exist.
Yeah.
There are no undefeated filmmakers. They have all lost at some point.
That's true in almost everything.
Correct.
And if somebody has never lost, sooner or later they will.
They will. There's always somebody that
Yep.
comes along better.
And sometimes it's better to do it earlier.
Correct.
Before it's such a big loss.
Right.
Learn that lesson early on.
Yep.
Not when it's, learn it at the $10,000 level, not the 10 million level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You won't get to the 10 million level if you haven't lost at the 10,000 level.
Yeah. The other thing you were saying I thought was sort of interesting, reminded me of when I was an elite athlete, where they talk about, before competition, you should have your routine down, like when you're going to eat, what type of food you want to eat. I think. And then the final thing was, but realize that it might completely be turned upside down, and don't let that rattle you. Like you're talking about, like rewriting something the last day. It's great to have it all planned and mapped out and everything, but you have to be able to adjust when it happens.
Know what's important to you as a filmmaker. It's incredibly important to
Like
me.
which things are really important, have to
Right.
be that way, and which ones you can let those go and change.
For me, what's most important is 1, the story, and then 2, my crew. So if I'm working more than an 8-hour day, I have failed. I hear all these stories about, hey, film's a 12-hour day. Hey, film's a 15-hour day. Hey, film's a 16-hour day. It doesn't have to be. If you're committed to the work and you're doing it right and you're taking care of what needs to be taken care of, it is the producer and director's job to find a way to tell that story effectively in an actual day of time, not 2 days in one day.
Right.
That's just not fair to do to people, and it actually makes the work suffer. So the goal is to hit. It doesn't mean that I always hit it. I have failed. There are days that I've had 12, 14-hour days. But I
Not every day.
always check in with my crew. And I say, hey, look, guys, we're running over. This is what I need. This is how we're going to make it. I'm going to order this amount of food. We're going to take 45 minutes, and then we're going to hit this, and we're going to try and get this done. Are you guys good? Anybody that's not good can go right now, and we'll figure out if we can do it without you.
Right.
Right?
That's fair.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because as an indie filmmaker, you don't have an endless budget. You don't have a studio behind you that's going to pick up the tab. So you have to figure out how to make sure everybody's healthy and safe so you can make a good film the way you want to make it with the people you want to make it. Again, it's a team,
Yeah.
right?
All right. So we talk about film. Let's talk about your film.
Okay.
Spirit of Friendship. You're both the director and the writer.
Yep. And
And the producer. Okay, of course. And I'm sure you're promoting it on social media.
we are.
Of course. I enjoyed the trailer.
Thank you.
Obviously, I have not seen the film. So let's talk a little bit about like what inspired the story. Tell people, what is it?
So Spirit of Friendship is a family film that was inspired by, I was doing a podcast for a little while as an experimental project for Burden Media to show people that we could do a podcast and how we could go viral, because viral is important to people.
Yeah.
So as I was doing that podcast, I met someone, this guy named Larry, and he told me a story about how his wife passed away and he became a single father of his 4 kids. And that inspired me to tell a story about a middle school kid that lost his mother and how he dealt with losing his mother and what he went through in that time period with his friends. And his friends read on the internet that they might be able to do this ritual at the cemetery. And if they do it correctly, he might be able to talk to his mother.
Right.
So he goes to the cemetery with his friends and he tries to do it a couple times and it doesn't seem to work. But while he's there, he ends up meeting this older gentleman, Leonard, and Leonard teaches him how to connect with his family and his loved ones that he has lost and he still has without losing the memory of his mother. And it's kind of this, I feel like there's a hole in the market right now for live action family films. Nobody's really doing them anymore except for the Christian community. And then they're just religious films.
And when you say live action family films, what do you mean by that?
Actual human beings telling a story
Oh,
for
okay.
kids. So like a good example of it right now would be Dear God, It's Me, Margaret, right? Like that's a family film that's for kids, that's about kids. They're not really doing that a lot. Like Matilda was a great film back in the day.
Okay.
Hocus Pocus, a film that focuses on the kids and not the parents.
Okay.
There's a lot of films out there that have kids in them, but there are not a lot of films out there that are about the kids.
But the story is not about the children, it's
Right.
about the adults, is what you're saying.
So we took pieces of films that we loved from the past and we did this. And Jeremy London was in it. He was gracious enough to fly up from Mississippi and join us on set and do his part.
And that was done in Connecticut.
It was done in Connecticut.
And I think you said that you had some of the children who are actors.
All of the actors that are in the film besides Jeremy are local Connecticut actors.
Now, did you know some of them in advance, or?
All of the kids I met through social media, we put out a post and then I had them all in person because I don't believe in auditions anymore. I believe that if I like you and you fit the character I want, I can get you to be real in the moment as that character. It's much easier.
You still have to meet them, though.
Yeah, I meet them.
Oh,
So
so
I-
but
I-
not
yeah.
like a
But I don't do like a formal audition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
You
So I
just
did
talk to them.
Yep. I have a conversation with them. I talk about what they like, if they play sports, what their background is, how they feel about their family. I watch them interact with their parents. I watch how their parents interact with them
Sure.
because I'm going to have to deal with them for weeks. Right. So I want to know how they behave and how they interact and if they're malleable in a conversation. Because if you're malleable in a conversation, then you're malleable on set.
Right.
That's what I need.
Okay. Do you ever have people where the parents are more of a problem than the child?
I have met people that the parents are more than a problem than the child, so we don't use them.
As I was going to say, you do try to stay away from it because they'll be a problem.
Yeah. And we have a rule on set when we're doing our kids' projects that parents are not allowed to parent their children. So if
They can be on set.
they can be on set, I mean, encourage them. They have to be.
They have to be.
Because we want them there for their kids.
Yeah.
But they are not allowed to be parenting them on set. Meaning that if they say something inappropriate or they say something they're not supposed to say, you don't get to step in as mom and say, hey, you can't say that, or hey, that's not.
You step in maybe and say, hey,
I sit there and say, hey, look, that's your teammate. You're not allowed to talk like that. You're not allowed to.
yeah, I watch you.
They have to be free to live in their world without parents because that's the world they're living in.
Yeah. Well, and if they're playing another person, then those aren't their parents at the moment.
At the moment.
At the moment. Yeah.
So that's why we have that booth.
No, it's interesting. It sounds good. It's interesting. So if people are looking for this film, Spirit of Friendship,
So it's available on almost every platform that you can rent or buy movies. It's also available on DVD. But everywhere but Netflix and Hulu, I think it's available.
okay, excellent. And then I know I saw you also have this new venture, Trash Panda Pictures.
Trash Panda Pictures.
What is that?
So that is a production company that we designed that's not Burden Media, but it's an affiliate. So we can start focusing on content for children and families under the age of 14. So we're going to do stuff that has morals and values and a story with a lesson that doesn't have any sort of religious base to it or any other base to it. It's just about kids living in their world. So stuff like Saved by the Bell, Boy Meets World, those type of movies. That's what we want, shows that we want to do.
Okay. So it sounds like Spirit of Friendship would fall into that category, kind of so we're creating it to do more Spirit of Friendship type projects.
100%.
And so what else should we look for from you with Burden Media?
So we actually have a shoot tomorrow for our new show that we're doing, a YouTube show called Lemur Leaders. And we're shooting that tomorrow. It's about a group of middle school kids that are in an after school program called Lemur Leaders. And they are a community-based group that meets every day after school to do like food drives and clothing drives and stuff like that. But it's about the kids and all the things that they go through being kids in middle school in an after school program. And we're shooting it kind of like a mockumentary, like The Office or Modern Family. So the kids will know the cameras are there and they'll
Yeah.
interact with the cameras and talk. So it'll be a fun project. Yeah.
Yeah. Did that come, by the way, from reality or unscripted TV? Like where people talk, like the mockumentary, like where you talk to the camera?
I think it came out of the idea of like combining reality TV and documentaries to create something scripted. And I think that's kind of where Ricky Gervais kind of, with The Office from
Yeah.
England, kind of made it big and great. And then we brought it here.
So if anybody wants to know about any of these things, Spirit of Friendship, Trash Panda Pictures, or now they're like, I want to meet you because I want to be in one of your films, birdmedia.com.
Birdmedia.com.
Everything goes from there?
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Danny LeGare, thanks for being with us.